And of course, the Republicans had their own drama in yesterday's New Hampshire primary, and here to talk about that is the chairman of the state Republican Party, Erik Iverson. And Erik, I guess, first of all, what's your reaction to the resurgence of John McCain, who everyone had given up for dead in the summer, and now here he is winning New Hampshire?
Well, I think it speaks a lot about Senator McCain's character. He's a fighter, obviously. He's a war hero. He's been a guy that has fought for all sorts of issues that sometimes aren't popular even within the Republican Party. Things such as the McCain-Feingold campaign finance reform. He took a stance on the immigration issue that wasn't very popular within our party, but that still isn't. But John McCain is a straight talker. And the people of New Hampshire responded to that. And I think a lot of people in America respond to John McCain. You see, even in the polls here in Montana, he does very well because the one thing about Senator McCain is there's no gray area. You know where he stands. He'll look you in the eye. He'll tell you what he believes. And if you disagree with him, that's fine. If you agree with him, that's fine. And I think that's refreshing in politics. We need to see more of that. So I'm excited. I like to see the competition we're having on both sides, Republican and Democrat.
Good for the party, you think?
I think it's great for the party. It's great for democracy. How exciting is it that we've got a little-known governor from Arkansas winning Iowa?
Hope, Arkansas,
absolutely. Barack Obama. What a wonderful life story he has. To see him winning Iowa and almost winning New Hampshire and really have a chance to win his party's nomination. John McCain, who is a war hero. Mitt Romney, a Republican who was elected in Massachusetts. Hillary Clinton, obviously, the background that she has. There's strength and there's depth on both sides, Republican and Democrat. I think it's great for democracy, and for a political junkie, you can't get any better theater than what we're seeing played out right now.
Absolutely. In yesterday's primary, the Democrats had a far better turnout than Republicans, and I know the party's worried that nationally that's going to be the case too.
Absolutely. Anytime you look at those numbers, if you're going to give an honest assessment, that would worry me. If I'm running one of these Republican presidential campaigns, I want my guy to be the nominee. I worry about that because really in New Hampshire, what that meant was more independents were breaking toward the Democrats. And I think a lot of that had to do with the strength of Senator Obama's message
and disenchantment with the ruling party.
There's no question about it. I think disenchantment with the White House, that's something that whomever is the Republican nominee, they're going to have to battle all the way along. Is this just going to be more of the same? Eight more years? Is there Bush fatigue? All of that's going to factor into it. So that Republican nominee has their work cut out for them. There's no question about it.
Could this go all the way to the convention, you think, without a nominee?
I don't think so. I think this thing will be
Tuesday.
Settled on what they're calling now, I guess, Super Duper Tuesday. We've got 24 states, including Montana, having a caucus or a primary that day, and I think it's going to get a lot more clear. I mean, Mitt Romney's got a great organization, a lot of money, but if he doesn't win in Michigan, I don't see how he continues. Same token.
And then McCain probably, if McCain does well in Michigan, he would be the front runner.
I would think so. I mean, Huckabee, I think, almost has to win South Carolina to keep going. I still think he's strong in a lot of areas, even throughout the West. Huckabee is, and so it's exciting. The question is, can John McCain catch lightning in a bottle again? Can he pick up another win before Super Tuesday? And if he does that, he's in the driver's seat in my mind.
You mentioned that Montana is part of Super Tuesday, February 5th, and that's a first. And usually Montana Republicans vote when Montana Democrats do in a June primary, and Democrats are sticking with June primary. But this year, the state party is having a caucus on February 5th, in part because you wanted Republicans in Montana to have more of a say in who the nominee is, right?
That's correct. We wanted to give Montana Republicans a voice in the process at a time in which it's relevant. And we just felt June isn't relevant anymore. It's basically Montana and South Dakota are the only ones left, the only states left holding it in June. And there were enough Republicans around the state that called me up and said, hey, wait a second, we're supposed to sit back and let the rest of the country, the rest of the Republicans in the country tell us who our nominee should be. Is there another way we can handle this? And so we came up with the caucus system. We're going to try it. Something brand new. I'm sure we have made mistakes. We'll make more of them, I'm sure. But hopefully this is something that can turn into a full-fledged primary on both sides, Republican and Democrat, because I think that's where we ultimately need to be in Montana.
At the caucus, it's basically party faithful, party leaders who will participate. It'll be less than 3,000 people actually get to vote. In the June primary in 2004, when Republicans voted in that primary, over 100,000 Republicans in Montana voted for who they thought should be the Republican nominee. Now you're down to less than 3,000. Is that fair?
I think it's as fair as we can do under the current set of rules. My preference would be to have a full-blown Republican and Democrat primary in February.
Open to.
And in fact, there was a bill in the Montana legislature to do that. It was supported by Republican Secretary of State Brad Johnson, Democratic Governor Brian Schweitzer. It passed the Montana House of Representatives overwhelmingly, and it was killed in the Montana Senate for various reasons, one of which was a price tag, $1 million. And so, I mean, I can understand that, that there are cost concerns that we need to work through. However, I don't think that that's a reason in and of itself to stop Montanans from having a voice for moving forward. And I guess I kind of bristle when people say this is party insiders because, you know, Sally, you go out and ask any precinct person in the state whether or not they consider themselves a part of the party elite, and you're going to get a resounding no. These are the backbone of the party, and they're being rewarded for their work. Whatever
happens on Super Tuesday or even the rest of this year, it's already great fun, isn't it, Eric?
It is. I mean, you know, we're talking presidential politics in Montana in January. I think that's exciting. I think it's good for Montana, no matter what your political persuasion.
And not just you and I who would be talking about it regardless. I think everybody who's got even remote interest in what's going on in the country is talking about it.
It's the leading news story every day, and it's fun to be a part of it, and hopefully it'll play out. To be honest with you, the way the field's unfolding, it couldn't be better for Montana.
I've been speaking with Erik Iverson, who's the chairman of the Montana Republican Party. Erik, thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.